It's the 29th of December 1984, 9 o'clock in the morning. Trafalgar has completed its first wartime patrol, and after restocking on supplies and munitions, is about to go straight back out again. There's no rest for the crew aside from a day's shore leave, as the Navy simply doesn't have enough submarines to spare at this time. Their tally of victories stands at 4 enemy submarines, a ratio that they can only hope is maintained and exceeded by every crew in the fleet. A lot of this success is owed to Captain Cook himself, though he is a rather humble man and would be unlikely to take all of the credit himself. Were you to ask him his secret, he'd probably tell you that it's just training, not anything special. And he would have a point. The Royal Navy's Submarine Command Course, known informally as Perisher, is widely regarded as one of the best and most brutal training courses in the world. Any aspiring captain or first officer must go on Perisher, where they will be assessed under extreme conditions on whether they are worthy of one day commanding one of the Royal Navy's submarines. The course has only a 60% success rate, and one of the elements of it that makes it so infamous is that upon failing Perisher, there are no retries, and furthermore, anyone who fails the course is forbidden from setting foot on a submarine ever again. Officially, the reason for this is that the tests are conducted in front of active duty ratings, who witness any and all failures the officers make, but unofficially, it also deters all but the most determined and ambitious commanders from taking the attempt by putting their whole career on the line. The course was originally created during the First World War to address the tremendous casualties among the submarine service at the time. Traditionally in the Navy, knowledge of command was passed on from a captain to a subordinate, but with such a high attrition rate, together with the fact that a sunken submarine typically goes down with all hands, meant that this important knowledge was being lost permanently. The answer to this problem was Periscope School, from which the contraction Perisher originates. For a period lasting months, the candidates spend time training in using simulators on shore, and then time in command of a real submarine under simulated wartime conditions, running a gauntlet of traps and tricks laid by the course organisers to push them to their very limits. One of the most important elements of determining whether an officer has the right stuff is whether or not they have what is sometimes called periscope vision, or a periscope eye. This, in short, is the ability to create an accurate mental picture of the situation surrounding the submarine based on the limited data available. Often, this is done with the actual periscope itself, popping it above the waves to do quick visual sweeps before lowering it again to avoid detection. Admiral Sandy Woodward, who commanded the Royal Navy Task Force in the Falklands War, originally made his mark in the Navy as a submariner, and he had this to say about it. It's not a very good analogy, but imagine sticking your head out of a manhole in Piccadilly Circus, taking one quick swivelling look around, ducking back down into the sewer, and then trying to remember everything that you'd seen. The idea is to generate sufficiently accurate recall and timing to avoid a double-decker bus running over your head the next time you pop up through the manhole. The training is not limited just to these technical aspects, however, and the course instructor, known simply as teacher, will often build in all sorts of unorthodox scenarios. One memorable example comes from the 2012 Perisher course, in which the instructor had chosen a young rating who was a particularly talented actor to orchestrate bizarre little drama. Pretending to take leave of his senses, the young man barricaded himself into the wireless telegraphy room, taking a hostage in the process. He then proceeded to broadcast music over the internal speakers, threatened to destroy all the equipment in the room, and made a number of demands, including a round of ice cream for the entire crew and being allowed to call his mother's telephone, which allegedly he succeeded in doing. One of the prospective captains was sent to try and negotiate with him, while the rest continued to try and conduct the official exercise as best they could with the absurd distraction taking place. As comical and outrageous as this might sound, there is no doubt that the course produces the very best. So much so, in fact, that naval officers from Australia, Brazil, Canada, South Korea, and the United States all regularly attend Perisher. Famous author Tom Clancy, writer of The Hunt for Red October and Red Storm Rising, had the following to say about Perisher. For all the costs, just what does the Perisher course produce? Arguably the world's finest quality submarine captains. Perisher is the Royal Navy's commitment to making sure that the men who command their submarines are as good as the boats themselves. The United Kingdom has collectively placed a terrifying amount of faith in its submarine captains like Edward Cook. And now, here in December of 1984, as war rages against the full might of the Soviet Navy, the country shall very soon find out whether or not that faith was well placed. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Cold Waters, where our current brief we're going to review is to intercept an enemy cruise missile submarine with its escort. It's heading southward in the Norwegian Sea towards the North Atlantic convoy routes. However, we were told to patrol areas Green 12 and Green 14. However, we had to return to base to rearm and repair after running into a pair of diesel submarines and pretty much running out of torpedoes completely. Which means that back here on the campaign map, I suspect the submarines in question have already long passed through the GI-UK gap, and that's one of these two submarines we've been able to spot out here in the middle of the Atlantic already. There are some more Soviet submarines headed this way, but I don't think that's them. I'm pretty sure it's got to be one of these two groups here, and unfortunately I have no idea which one it is. We're just going to have to go over there and find out if we can locate them, because our spotting on them is not going to last forever. In fact, this one's fading already. So, I'm trying to go chase some subs. If they're still there, we might get a mission failed screen in a second, to be honest with you. Right, we've bumped into one of them. Doing 20 knots. Oh, close to 20 kilometers. XO status report. We're all loaded up with tigerfish and one decoy. That's good. There's no surface duct and there is no thermal layer. Interesting. Okay. Close in and let's do this. Immediately.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Rig ship for ultra quiet. Thank you very much. Con, I think we've been detected, it says. That's not good. That's very much not good at all. Let's take it down to 600.
600, dive by.
Maximum depth, please. We've got a contact already. What are you? Nope, not you. Not you. Okay, there's something pinging us out in that direction. It's not this guy, whoever this is. I'm more interested in Sierra 2 right now, actually, because that's pinged me. Tango. Another Tango. We've got Sierra 3 as well. Also looks like it could be another Tango.
Sonar, launch transient from Sierra 2.
Oh, goody. This is all going swimmingly, isn't it?
Con, fire control, we've lost the wire.
Okay.
Make turns for 3, 2 knots. Maneuvering eye.
Have a decoy. Let's reload a decoy, reload that.
Cons, come left to 197, helm eye.
And down we go, maximum speed.
Con, sonar, lost contact. Sierra 3.
Still can't figure out what
Steady course.
Sierra 1 is here. Sierra 1 might honestly be a fishing trawler or a merchant or something. Then again, no, it's not a typhoon. I think it's some sort of merchant, personally.
Con, sonar, regained contact.
If we'd been stealthy enough and had the
2,
time,
bearing 3, 1,
I would have gone up
9.
to the surface to do a radar check, honestly, but it hasn't quite worked out that way. We bumped into these guys going a little too fast in my eagerness to catch up to them.
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
Okay. Signature on Sierra 2. He's still got his plus 13 on active. 16 on passive because we're going so quick. I'd really like to break contact with him, personally. Don't think our reaction torpedo is actually going to have any luck, frankly, but you never know. What depth do we think he's at? Yeah, he's very shallow. We should just
maneuvering, making turns.
running
3,
quick
2,
now in order to avoid any incoming torpedoes.
5 ready.
Because we know there are some. He launched at us. Frankly, this is not what we're looking for right now. But we might as well sink him while we're here, I suppose. Might not end up finding the group we're actually tasked with finding, unfortunately. And even if we did, probably a Charlie or an Oscar with an escort of Victors or something. It's not something you want to bump into going at full speed, really.
Come right to 2.
Good time
6,
compression,
9,
change direction a
helm
little.
high.
And watch that solution build. Hello, sailor.
Ultra quiet.
I'm going to rig for ultra quiet. He can still pick us up on active, but I'm mostly doing it just to slow down and listen a bit better.
Last bearing 3, 4.
Oh, hello.
1. Contact faded.
Who the hell fired that? Where did that come from? Is it going after the decoy? What is it doing? What's happening?
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 3, bearing 282.
Is that our torpedo up here? Yeah, that's the tigerfish up there. That looks like it's locked onto something as well, actually, because it's going straight instead of its usual snake pattern. I'm very confused. Who the hell fired this? Is there someone down here? What's going on? Let's see if I can try and identify these. Whatever these are. Whiskey? No. Kilo? The lines don't quite match up.
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 2, bearing 3, 4,
What about
5.
Sierra 1? Yeah, you're the one that I think is possibly a merchant, aren't you? Yeah. An Amguena AP, whatever that is, it's some sort of merchant ship. Sierra 3, on the other hand, you look a little tricksy. Not sure what you are. Well, you're not a whale. I can tell that much. Ooh, could it be a Delta 3? No, surely not. We were briefed for an Oscar or Charlie, weren't we? I mean, that looks so close, but the lines just don't quite match up as far as I can tell. And what would a Sierra be doing out here anyway with a Foxtrot? That doesn't make any sense. Sorry, a Tango. That doesn't make any sense. I'm just gonna leave it for now. If we can't identify the thing, so let's just not do it. If you misidentify something, it actually provides you with a negative to your target resolution. Makes it harder for you to figure out where it is. So we'll leave it alone. Yeah, that thing is going after my decoy, but who is down here that fired it? I mean, what the hell? Unless he fired it on a cable, and he's still got it on a cable, and he turned it around? But that's weird. How could it get down there so fast? I just don't get it. Right now, I'd just like a better solution than this Tango. Let's deploy our towed array. Maybe we can get it that way. The dude's pinging away, and he's not far away. I'm amazed at how we can't seem to nail him down, you know? I guess that's typical diesel submarine shenanigans, but bloody hell, man.
Make depth 5, 4,
Time
9,
compression on.
high.
What's he doing? He's going that way. He seems more interested in the decoy. Surprise, surprise.
Come right to 3, 1, 4, helm aye. Con, helm, steady course.
Partisan. Ah, this was a merchant as well. There you go. Interesting that the Amguema is listed in red. It seems to be a valid target. What are you exactly? Medium-sized ice-breaking passenger cargo ship. Well, you know, if I can deal with this Foxtrot, sorry, Tango, I don't know why I keep getting those mixed up. I might use my Mark 8 torpedo on you that I've been saving. we in this dude's baffles right now? It looks sure as hell looks like we are. Yep. Let's go passive homing. Bit of a risk, that passive homing, really, without knowing if it's going to stay on the cable. So let's not do that. Let's come up to his level. About 100 meters.
Make depth 100, dive I.
Turn right.
Con, helm, steady course.
Up we go. He's turned away from us very unwisely towards the decoy. I should remember that tactic in future. Fire one across their noses like that. Get them to turn the other way. Beautiful. Okay, we're in a position to fire right now. There he is. There's the Tango. And there's us. Dragging our array down from behind us there. Alright. Dude's quite slow, so we can afford to have the torpedo inactive for quite a while here. Because it'll still catch him even when it's inactive. Fire one. And it kept the wire, you beauty.
Con, dive at 100, dive I.
I can't believe he's making this so easy for us, if I'm honest.
Con, sonar.
I'm a little shocked. Uh-oh. Alright, he knows the torpedo's there. Question is, where is that torpedo he's fired going?
Come left 2.
I'm going to send the torpedo active right now. Straight towards him. He's turning this way, so I'm going to point it that direction. He's diving. Let's dive the torpedo as well. It's turning around! Why is it... He sent it this way, and now he's turned it around to go after the decoy. I'm so confused. This crazy Ivan over here is making me second guess absolutely everything right now.
2-0-0-3, helm I.
Actually, no, the heading we were going was fine, if I'm honest. He's still diving. Oh, actually looks like he's coming back up again now. Trying to get the little torpedo graphic here to match where his depth. He knows he's in trouble. He's dropping noisemakers.
Con, helm, steady course.
Part of the reason why I don't know where he is right now actually is the noisemakers. Very good at masking the signature of a submarine by just making so much damn noise. Okay, the fish has got him. There he is again. Hello. Hello, Sonny Jim. I'm going to try and make sure I match his...
Sonar, noisemaker bearing 0,
Yeah.
1, 3.
No, we're not interested in the noisemaker. Keep that torpedo going nice and steady ahead. No countermeasure homing for you, sir.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Nice, it's got him again. And he is going up. Trying to keep this... This seems to be the key of getting to getting some success with the Tigerfish, really. It seems to be about making sure that we can anticipate his movements and use our manual control of the torpedo to maximize our chances of success. He's dropped another noisemaker. We're going to get the torpedo to ignore that, carry on straight ahead. It's reacquired him. And... got him.
Lost contact. Sierra 2, last bearing.
Oh, nice explosion on the surface and everything.
0, contact breaking up.
Well, we started off the engagement on the back foot, but luckily I think it was just one lonely Tango out here and no one else. Managed to waste a minimum of torpedoes while I was at it too, so that I am quite happy about. He's not going to be a very happy bunny though. Although, to be fair, I don't know what the escape depth on a Tango is, to be honest. This is the Oscar here. This is one of the two subs we're looking for, either an Oscar or a Charlie like this. The Oscar's a huge thing. It's absolutely gigantic submarine. It's one of the ones that the Soviets had that could carry nukes. So it's a bit of a beast. 32 knot speed. It's just as fast as we are. 22,000 tons compared to a Charlie, which is 5,000 tons.
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
It is massive. Not as massive as the Typhoon, which is that one. The one from The Hunt for Red October. The Red October in that movie was a Typhoon. That's 48,000 tons. That is more tonnage than some World War II battleships. Just as a frame of reference there. But the Tango, I don't know if the escape depth is even listed on here, actually, to be honest. SAM range 5 kilometers. Yeah, some of the Soviet subs have like man pads on that you can launch from the top. Little hand carried sort of anti-air missile launchers. When you're being harassed by helicopters and you're in a really dire situation. It doesn't say what the escape depth is. If they're lucky, they were within escape depth and they got out. Some of them got out anyway, but I wouldn't be that optimistic, really. Now, about that merchant ship that was marked in red, yeah, there he is.
Come right to 000.
Let's go ahead and retract the towed ray. It says deploying. Now it says retracting. What is it doing? Is it deploying or is it retracting? Is it damaged? What's going on? Okay, it is retracting. Good. I feel like I got momentarily confused there. Let's come up to... Actually, no, let's stay pretty much where we are. Let's stay here. Fire here is good. In fact, let's go down a little bit. I'd like to speed up.
Con sonar, we are cavitating.
We're cavitating. At what depth do we stop cavitating? We stop at about 190 meters, apparently, is where we stop cavitating at full throttle. Full speed ahead.
Come left to
The Amguema.
5, helm I, con, helm, steady course.
Wherever it is, it has a top speed of 15 knots, so we'll catch it in no time, hopefully.
Con, dive at 200, dive I.
Yes, watch out for those torpedoes that are still in the water, admittedly. But I think we should be safe. I'll be back when we've caught up and I'm in position to fire, I think. Alright, folks. Upscope. There he is. Set up just in front of him on his path. Ready to launch our Mark 8 torpedo and hopefully sink him. Mark 8 actually has in spite of being so old, it actually has a larger warhead than the Tigerfish, so it is theoretically better at sinking shipping than the Tigerfish is. Right, now we've set up perpendicular to his path. We're slowing down to 5 knots here. Actually, we can go to less if we want. A single knot will be fine. And we're just ready to pull the trigger essentially when he gets to the right angle in front of us. It's rather like I quite enjoy using these Mark 8 torpedoes for attacks. It takes me back to playing Silent Hunter and being in a U-boat. Making those dumb torpedo attacks against merchant shipping, having to use one of those crazy old World War II calculators to get a good torpedo solution, etc., etc. It looks like it's a Polish ship, interestingly enough. Poland, of course, being an Eastern Bloc country at this time. So it kind of makes me feel bad for the poor buggers, but unfortunately, rules of engagement say I must destroy you. You are marked in red, sir. Luckily, I don't think the AI kind of can spot your periscope. Warships certainly can, but I don't think a merchant ship will spot your periscope and start taking evasive action. Otherwise, I'd be much more cautious than this. In real life, what they would do is they would be having the periscope going up and down constantly. It'd go up, you'd take a little look, the captain through the periscope, put it straight back down again, trying to minimize the chance of it being seen. He also wouldn't raise it this far out of the water either, I suspect. He'd be much lower. But I don't think we have to worry about any of that. Cold Waters is not ultimately a particularly hardcore submarine simulator. It gets a lot of stuff right, and it's very engaging, and there's a lot to learn, but it's still kind of a sim light, you might call it. Alright, I kind of want to fire at him close to a sort of 0 degrees off our bow as possible, sort of when it gets to around there. Also, I need to bring the launch reticle here back a little bit so that the torpedo will actually sort of activate and go up to its correct depth. Once it sort of arms, I don't know if that's necessarily if that's accurate behavior for a World War II torpedo. I think once it goes straight, as soon as it comes out of the tube, it probably goes straight up to its selected depth, I imagine, but I don't know for sure. Certainly would during World War II, but I don't know if these Mod 4 torpedoes behaved a bit differently in the 80s. Let's use a little bit of time compression here as he comes towards us, and this is looking pretty good. I'm gonna just wind this back a little bit here. Get ready to fire, and hopefully that should be good. Off it goes. There you go, little Mark 8. Good luck. Hopefully you hit. Had to kind of eyeball it a bit, really, on the map. But on the bright side, the lead calculation it gives you for the enemy ship is probably far more accurate than what you'd have in the real submarine in 1984. Off it goes. Speed it up a little bit. Ooh, looks like it might be good. Looks like it's going to hit in the bow somewhere, possibly. Yeah. Boom! The whole frickin' thing went up.
260. Contact breaking up.
Good night, sweet prince. Where's he at in front of us? And there he goes. Actually, I should have watched the explosion through the periscope. That would have been very cinematic. I wonder what protocol would be in this situation. Would we surface to pick up survivors? Or would a nuclear submarine like this be under strict orders not to surface at all until it returns to port? That's something I'm quite curious about. Down it goes. Right, we are done here, I think.
Down scope.
This was not the droids we were looking for, I'm afraid, however. That's the bad news. It's a bit of extra tonnage on our CV, but it's not what we were actually looking for. Engaged an enemy Tango and sunk it. It doesn't actually mention the merchant on here at all, but it was marked in red, so I went for it. This was not the objective of your current mission orders. Yep, figured as much. Alright, let's see if we can find that other group of subs. They're up here somewhere, I think. But honestly, unless we get a satellite pass over right now, we're never going to find them, I don't think. In fact, I think I'm going to give up entirely and just return to our designated patrol area and wait it out. This is inevitably going to be a mission failed, I'm afraid. It's taking its sweet time about it, though, I've got to say. Oh, we got some Soviets coming back, apparently. Interesting. Hello, gentlemen. Okay, that's close to 15 kilometers. Our speed is 1 knot. We are extremely stealthy right now. Exostatus report. Let's load a tigerfish into that empty tube. And let's do this. Let's see what we've got. Who's this coming back from the Atlantic?
Quiet.
Oh, yep, periscope depth.
Make depth 612, dive by.
Almost. I'm just going to do a quick radar scan. Make sure Sierra 1 over here isn't a fishing trawler. Actually, let's just be extra safe and raise the ESM mast. Yeah, as I thought, nothing there. Radar mast. That's what I thought, it's a trawler, because the enemy was down here on the campaign map somewhere. So, it is in fact a trawler. It is a British one, actually. I'll have to go and get some fish for our fish and chips, eh, lads? It's quite possible he'll soon be witnessing explosions coming up from the water. So, that begs the question. Where's the other guy? Yeah, let's put out the towed array. I'm going to sort of turn in this direction. Put the radar mast away. What are the conditions though? We've got a strong duct and a strong layer. That might be why we haven't hide nor hair of him right now. Bring us down to 100 meters.
100, dive by.
And we'll listen for him. Immediately. Immediately. As soon as we went through the layer. Actually, it wouldn't be a bad idea to take us back up through the layer now we found him.
61, dive by. Make depth 30, dive by.
Let's quickly identify them while we have the chance. It is a submarine, that much is probably for sure, I think. What do we have? Maybe a Victor 1? No, I should be so lucky. It's a Victor 3. Without a doubt.
Con sonar, Sierra 3.
Sierra 2.
Submerged submarine.
You're a little more difficult to pin down, sir. What are you? Not a Victor 3. This line is just off, and that one's slightly off. It's a Charlie. Oh, is it though? I'm not sure it is a Charlie. It's a Charlie 2.
Con sonar.
Is this our guy? Is this the dumbest of luck? Is this our man? Which way are they going? The Victor 3 looks like he's going this kind of direction. Where's the Charlie 2 headed?
Come right to 266.
Yes, let's stay above that layer. Looks like the Charlie 2's headed this way. The Victor must be zigzagging or something. Maybe he heard something. I want to get behind that Charlie and sink him. But that Victor 3 with his towed array is going to be a problem. Aha, okay. He's up there, is he?
Come right
Alright, let's immediately turn this direction. What kind of speed are these guys doing? 10 knots. What kind of sensor comparison have we got on the Victor 2, or the Victor 3, sorry, right now? -2 on the Toad. Oh boy. Let's take it left a bit. I want to be in a position, ideally, the kind of position I want to be in is like here. I want to be here. I want to be far enough away from that Victor 3 that he's potentially not even going to hear me launch, and the Charlie won't because I'm in his baffles. That's what I want. Victor, on the other hand, I think he's got other plans. He's zigzagging all over the shop. He's on escort duty, he's apparently taking it quite seriously, so set our torpedoes to active for now. Just in case I have to fire a reaction shot. Hello, sir. Yeah, let's take it further left. If you're zigging, I shall zag.
Con, helm, steady course.
Right into the plus numbers on his towed array. He has turned to get a better angle on us, admittedly. What depth is he at? Oh, he's down low. What about the Charlie? He's a bit higher up. More interested in you, though. The Charlie sensors are going to be much worse than his. It's a much older boat. Are they... okay, I think this might have been... They might have been going If I had to guess, their course was probably something like this. They've done a big zigzag. Because, of course, they're wanting to get back to Murmansk, I imagine, so they are going this way overall, which may present us with an opportunity to intercept in this direction. I'm going to take us to the right ever so slightly.
306, helm I.
And keep an eye on these sensor numbers. They're probably the most important information we've got at the moment, and to be honest with you, understanding what these mean is one of the most important things in learning this game, actually. For a long time I didn't understand what these meant, and found the game incredibly hard, as you can imagine, because these are effectively a stealth meter, basically, in this game. If you don't know what these mean, you're operating entirely on guesswork, and that's not a great thing to do if you're a bit of a layman on the subject of underwater submarine warfare. They zigzagging up this way again. I feel more confident going like this now, as the Victor's moving directly away.
Helm I. Con, helm, steady course.
My part of me desperately wants to speed up to about 10 knots to match them, but I just think we're going to be heard if we do that. We're already in plus numbers again on the Toad. I think we can do this though, if we're just very patient. It might take a while, even with time compression on here, but I think we might be able to manage this.
Come right to 000, helm I.
Fine, let's bring it a bit right that direction.
Con, helm, steady course.
Okay, I'm going to pause the recording here for a moment while I try and get myself into a position, because this could take a while. I'll come back if we've either managed to get in position or they've spotted me, which is, if I'm honest, given our track record so far, the latter is probably more likely. Alright, we're in a somewhat decent position here. As you can see, we've got the Charlie out in front of us, about just over 8 kilometers away. I'm thinking of taking the shot from here. If we get any closer, we risk the Victor being able to hear us. It's the problem, and we're soon going to run out of map as well as the thing. Once the enemy gets across the red border, they just sort of mysteriously disappear, and the ocean stops existing, which is a little bit annoying, but whatever. Limitation of the game, unfortunately. There's only so far we can tail these guys. I'm hoping, it's quite far away, but I'm hoping as long as they don't know what's going on and they don't speed up, I'm hoping maybe the tigerfish can catch them. Got it set to passive homing. I'd love to be able to set it as a straight runner, but I can't, unfortunately. It's not an option. So we're going to have to set it as the snake search pattern. What would be delightful is if it actually, if the wire didn't break, but of course, no. Having said that, now it absolutely will. I've been tailing them as fast as I can. Really, I'm trying to maintain about 13 knots, just to be slightly faster than the Charlie 2 that's going at 10, in order to slowly close the gap. But it's a slow business. It's a very slow business. I'm trying to make, strike the balance between catching up and not being heard. I've also gone down to 600 meters to try and make myself a bit more difficult to hear, and also because where I was above the layer, I couldn't go any faster than 5 knots without cavitating. So yeah, at this point I think I'm going to rig for silent running. We're going to come up to roughly about where they are. So I'm going to call that 180 meters or so.
Make depth 183, dive I.
Watch that climb up slowly. We're going to launch our tigerfish and hope for the best, pretty much. We might get an immediate counter launch from the Victor, I don't know. For some reason, the Victor at certain points, on its sensor comparison, went to triple minus 50, and I don't know why on earth that is. It might have been because he was speeding up or something and I didn't notice. I really don't know. Anyway, we're at the right depth now. It's time to do this. He's zigzagging backwards and forwards, as you can see, but I'm going to lead the shot. Oh, hello, cat. I really don't need you on the desk right now. So if you can hear his bell jingling, everybody, that is my cat that's come to disrupt everything as he usually does. Hello, Colin. Hello. dude. I need you to not be here. Oh dear, everybody, I'm going to have to pause. Right, cat has been temporarily dealt with. I tell you what, man. Felines have an almost scary sense of dramatic timing. They know exactly when to suddenly leap up and wreck everything. Okay. Monsieur Charlie, are you going to turn back left again?
Dive I, passing 600 feet.
Yeah, he is. Alright. The torpedo will catch him there, apparently, and our max range inactive is all the way out there, which gives me some hope. I don't know the maths on this, quite frankly. However, he's not going to go that way, is he? His overall course is more sort of like in this direction, I think. So... Dear me, let's try for... something like... It's going to have to go active pretty much where he is right now, I think. For this to work. Alright. There he goes. Yep, of course we lost the wire. Naturally. Now we wait to see if there's a counter launch. Nothing so far. We have no idea where the Victor 3 is at the minute. He keeps popping in and out of visibility.
Come left to.
I think if I turn slightly to the side, my towed array might be able to pick him up. Time compression. Looks like there's nobody firing back. At least we didn't hear it if they did.
Come right to.
Okay.
073 helm I.
How fast can we go without
Helm.
cavitating at this depth? Oh, there's the Charlie, by the way. That's what he looks like. Very similar to a Victor, just with a slightly more bulbous nose on the end, which I think is where the missile batteries are probably located, I imagine. Much older than the Victor 3, though, I have to say. Definitely. Interesting boat to captain, though. I've had a go in the Charlie, actually, in campaign mode as the Soviets, and it's an interesting boat. Mostly what makes it cool is all the missiles it has. Aside from that, it's quite slow. So... Alright. Secure from silent running.
Make turns for 5. Make turns for
8, 9 knots.
Make turns for
10
9.
knots.
Make turns for
11.
Make turns for
12.
Make turns for 1, 2.
13 knots.
Make turns for
13
1,
knots is about as fast as I dare go.
Maneuver.
We've actually lost him now. Alright, let's just keep going. Lost him in the noise. The water rushing over our own hull, basically. And our towed array can't find him when he's directly in front of us like that. On the bright side, our little torpedo is on its way, and if we're lucky, it'll catch us a whale. Actually, if we're very unlucky, it will catch a real whale. But if there was a whale around here, I think we would have heard it by now. Haven't run into any whales in this campaign so far, actually. I'm a little disappointed. Usually run into them a little more frequently than this. Nothing to do now but twiddle my thumbs and wait, I'm afraid. I'd pause the recording, but I don't know if or when it's actually gonna, the torpedo's actually gonna do its work, considering it's off the wire right now and just doing its own thing. We don't even know where it is right now. Mostly because we can't hear it because we're going quite quick. I say quite quick. 13 knots is not quick, but quick considering the scenario. I imagine that Charlie is probably around here-ish by now.
Con sonar lost
Oh, we got him.
contact. Sierra 2. Last
It only
bearing
went and bloody got him.
7-4. Contact
It
break.
worked! And that Victor 3 presumably has no idea where we are. Oh my goodness, right, get out of here.
Come right to 241.
Turn us about, sir. Down to maximum depth.
Make depth 600, dive I.
Get us out of here. Can't leave the area just yet. The Victor is still too close. He is bound to be within about 16 kilometers. I think 16 kilometers is the range beyond which you're actually allowed to disengage and go back to the campaign map. So we need to get further than 16 kilometers away from the bugger. And considering he's probably right now about here, and also going, what the hell just happened? Swearing a lot in Russian. We need to hightail it in the opposite direction.
Come right to 257. Helm I.
I don't know how fast we're able to go with the towed array out, actually. That's something I should look up. I think I'm going to get us down to 600 meters. I'm going to retract the towed array and we're just going to book it. I'm just going to go all ahead full. Well, ahead flank, I guess, and put as much distance between us and them as possible. I think even at a head flank, he might not be able to hear us down at 600 meters. Or at least that's what I'm hoping. Let's go time compression on. It'd be a very, very, very scary-looking submarine, the old Trafalgar, wouldn't it? If it weren't for the fact that it has that big goofy eye and big goofy mouth on the front. It'd be quite sinister looking. There we go. See you later, Ivan. I guess they were coming back from their patrol, which, you know, would seem to indicate to me the Charlie's probably already fired its missiles at some poor unfortunates, and therefore the success of this mission is dubious at best. But we caught him on his way back to Murmansk, and we have destroyed him. And if this wasn't the mission objective, I'm going to be very annoyed. If we ran into a completely different Charlie 2, I will be pissed, frankly. But nevertheless, if it is the mission objective, to be fair, we got incredibly lucky if it was, because the chances of finding him on his way back is ridiculous. In fact, I'm really surprised that the mission didn't just automatically fail as soon as he got passed out into the Atlantic, because it kind of sounded like it should have done. But apparently it didn't. So, there you go. Maybe they didn't fire their missiles yet. Maybe they were transitioning back to the Norwegian Sea to hunt something there instead. Maybe they got a change of orders. Maybe that's why it's not a failure yet. The guy hadn't fired his missiles at anything. We don't know. We just don't know. Maybe a technical fault that sent them back. There's any number of reasons. I mean, the thing about submarines is they're kind of mechanical death traps in a way. I mean, like, even the most modern ones sometimes break down in the weirdest ways. If you read any history about nuclear submarines and Cold War submarines in general, you end up reading a lot of stories about how submarines just went completely wrong without any contact with the enemy involved whatsoever. So, leave combat, we can get away now. The Victor 3 escaped. The Charlie 2 was, however, sunk. 21,400 experience gained. Crew proficiency increased. There we go. Fine work dealing with those boats, Commander. Your contribution to the war effort will make transit for our convoys a lot safer, and supporting the troops on land is what the Navy is about. Keep it up, Commander. Await further orders on this downlink. Fantastic. Sub-kills increasing. In the last 48 hours, a number of Soviet submarines have been sunk, according to the latest NATO morning press briefing. The enemy vessels were believed to be advanced nuclear attack and cruise missile subs. If true, this would be a significant blow to Russian war plans and a big help in securing the safe transit of Allied convoys. Without the threat of attack from submarines, transatlantic crossings are becoming more efficient and suffering fewer losses. If this improved influx of supplies and war materials can be sustained, NATO forces will be in a position to more effectively stem the Russian onslaught. Continue. Our new mission, top secret. Tactical situation. Intel reports that a wolf pack of enemy diesel-electric attack submarines will sail within the next 7 days and attempt to transit the GI-UK gap. They must be sunk, and I just bumped the microphone, apologies everybody. They must be sunk before they get the opportunity to cause mayhem along the North Atlantic convoy routes. Intelligence believes that the pack may consist of 2 to 4 boats. Transit to patrol area green 10. Locate and sink the attack submarines. Avoid detection by enemy ASW patrols. Rules of engagement. Warning yellow. Weapons thrown designated targets. MCON maintain radio silence until otherwise directed. Ed Cook's crew at the moment are still regulars, apparently rated 5 out of 40. Level 5 or 40, I think that is. We have a regular crew. Fire controls increased. Target motion analysis has gone up 102%. Target motion analysis is basically it's the moving map that we use to track everything. Periscope order position error, whatever. I don't even know what that is, frankly. That's probably if you raise the periscope and just let the crew automatically locate targets with the periscope instead of doing it yourself. I rarely do that, though. If I've got the scope up, I'm doing it myself. Torpedo men, regular. The tube reload is 1 second faster. Considering that's 1 out of 10, I assume the maximum you can get is 10 seconds faster on the tube reload, which is pretty nice. Noisemaker reload is 1 second faster. That's the really awesome one there. If we can somehow survive long enough to get Noisemaker reload all the way up to 10 seconds faster, that is a life-saving difference. That is right there. My goodness. Our current Noisemaker reload is 19 seconds. Damage control seasoned. Nice. It's the highest rate we've got so far. With a self-noise reduction of 1 decibel. That'll pile up as well. I think the self-noise reduction is really useful. Obviously, it makes us quieter. And also, it makes it easier for us to hear enemies over the sound of our own sub. So, water pumping speed is obviously quite important if we do actually get hit and start to take on flooding, which I'm sure will probably happen at some point. I'm not very good at evading torpedoes once they've actually found me, so... Navigation regular. Yeah, okay, cool. So, continue. Continue on course. It was green 10 we're headed for, right? Yeah, so, just next door, over here. Brilliant. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to save the game. Thank you very much for tuning in. That was an interesting episode, for sure. We did get the bastards eventually, though. To my surprise. Whoops, I didn't realise it was unpaused there. We got the bastards in the end, though. And that is darn good, quite frankly. The situation on the mainland is pretty static, actually. The Russians haven't pushed any further into Germany right now. They've pretty much just got Hamburg and the Fulda Gap area bit down there. And they've got that little northern tip of Norway. If they get any further south, they get to Andøya, that's a problem. Because if they get to Andøya, they can actually disable the Norwegian SOSUS net, which goes across there between Svalbard and Andøya. Which means that they'll be able to pass through this part of the Norwegian Sea completely undetected. I mean, we'll still have aircraft that can try and track them down, but yeah, not having this net here would be a pain. So, if we screw up more missions, unfortunately, they will make advances inland. Obviously, when you're playing as the Soviets, your goal is to succeed in missions so that Soviet forces continue to advance across the continent. It's actually quite a different campaign in many ways playing as the Soviets. I recommend it. If you've never tried Dotmod before, I really recommend giving it a go and having a go in a Russian sub, because it is really interesting. Really, really interesting. Total change of pace from playing a NATO sub. But anyway, that's it, folks. If you haven't already, give us a like and, pardon the pun, give us a sub. And I will see you in the next one. Toodaloo.